Hi everyone, and welcome to today's video. Today, as promised, I bring you my worst of 2023 when it comes to under eye concealing, brightening type of products. I was pleasantly surprised to only have 4 that I was able to add onto my list. Now, first up is the Urban Decay Quickie Concealer. This one retails for $33 and it is supposed to be a hydrating full coverage formula. However, I think it was just too hydrating for me personally. No matter how little or how much I would use, the end result was always the same. It would settle into my fine lines, which meant that I had to set the concealer, and every time I would set the concealer, it would look excessively dry underneath the eyes. It looked really bad. It didn't matter what setting powder I set it with, what color corrector I placed underneath it. It would crack throughout the day. It looked, I could not wait to wash it off every single time that I tried. And trust me, I tried a few different ways to try to get the concealer to work, but unfortunately, it just was not for me whatsoever. Also, not to mention the fact that the little brush that comes with the concealer is absolute garbage. It would sting whenever I would try to actually work with it. It like kind of poked my face. It was not a good time, okay? Not a good time. So after trying it a few different ways, I just had to finally put it down and accept defeat. Next, we have an under eye brightener, and this is one of 2 that I have on my list. We're gonna start off with the Rare Beauty by Selena Gomez under eye brightener. I really wanted to love this. Trust me, I did. I love everything that I've tried from Rare Beauty, this being the exception. It's just not it for me whatsoever. This one retails for $24. It provides very light coverage, and of course it is meant to be a very hydrating formula. So what it's meant to do is to give you a very like fresh faced look. Unfortunately, regardless of what concealer I would pair this with, it just did not. It was not it for my under eye area. Absolutely not. It wore off when I placed it by itself and whenever I wore it with different concealers. Of course, it settled into fine lines. It looked extremely dry because I would have to set it because it would settle into my fine lines regardless of how I used it. And it looked dry every single time. Not only that, but it also moved around and separated throughout the day. Definitely not for anybody that has any amount of texture underneath the eyes, like definitely more mature under eye area, not it. However, if you have really young, smooth under eyes, then you could probably get away with this one and it won't be an issue. But for me personally, I couldn't get it to work without it looking just bad. Another eye brightener that also made it onto the list is the Milani under eye brightener. I really wanted to like this one because of course it is from the drugstore. It's $10.99 USD, so it was very inexpensive. It comes in really nice shades, color correcting shades. You can wear it by itself, you can wear it underneath a concealer. However, I couldn't wear it at all. It did not look good underneath my eyes. It didn't stay put. No matter what I did, it would wear off throughout the day, regardless of what concealer I used it with, or even if I used it by itself. It separated and it broke up and it just looked yucky underneath the eye area. And of course, just like with the Rare Beauty one, it also looked extremely dry, even when I wouldn't set it. So I did try to just let it be by itself a couple of times, and it just looked like it was moving around. It just did not look nice and smooth and even. It made the under eye area appear a bit worse rather than a bit better. So for those reasons, I eventually just had to give up and put it down. Now, the last one that I have on my list is a concealer, and with this one, I was kind of on the fence. I was kind of debating whether or not to add it onto the list. Of course, I'm talking about it, so I ended up adding it. And the only reason is because I didn't reach for it very much because I don't love the way that it feels underneath the eyes. I'm talking about the Makeup by Mario concealer. It is supposed to have a natural finish and provide medium to full coverage, so you can build it up to your, desired coverage or desired level of coverage. And although it was very high in coverage, every time I wear it, it just feels so heavy underneath the eye area, and I cannot stand it when I feel the concealer, especially underneath the eyes, because we do have very thin, very delicate skin under the eyes, and if I feel a heavy amount of product, I just cannot wait to wash it off, and it's just all that I feel on my face is the under eye area, just packed with concealer, or at least that's what this one feels like. Anytime that I wore it, it always felt heavy. This one, just like the other three on the list, loves to settle in between my fine lines, so I always feel the need to set it. And of course, when I set this one, it not only feels dry, but it looks it as well. So it feels cakey. I guess that's my main issue with it, is that I set it and it feels cakey. It feels heavy without setting it. It settles into my fine lines. So I set it and then it just ends up feeling cakey. I reached for it a few more times after reviewing it, but every single time I felt the need to like wash my face. Like I could not wait to take my makeup off for the day because it just felt so heavy underneath my eye area. I know that a lot of people seem to love it. I'm probably one of the few that's like, no, sorry, not for me, but yeah, no, sorry, not for me. It's just a little too heavy for the under eye area, at least. All over the face, it's gonna look great. It's gonna feel great because you're not necessarily gonna need to set it because it's not necessarily gonna settle into fine lines. But underneath my under eye, I just couldn't get away with not setting it, and then everything else would happen every single time. So for that, I decided to add it onto my list. But hey, there's only 4. There's only 4. So that completes today's list. Very small, fortunately, and hopefully 2024 is the same, where I don't have very many products for the under eye area specifically that I just do not love or like even, and then I just never touch it again. Hopefully I don't find too many of those this year, but we will see. We'll see what we run into. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I truly hope that you enjoyed today's video and that you found it helpful. Let me know what were some of your worst products of 2023. It doesn't have to be in the category of concealers or brighteners, any kind of product that you tried that you're just like, oh my gosh, this was not it, because it's nice to have all of that down in the comment section below in case, I know I look through those and I always take you guys up on your recommendations. So make sure that you are warning the rest of us as far as what products you just could not get to work and why. So keep the conversation going down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you're having a great day, night, weekday, weekend, whenever you're watching this. And I will see you all in my next video. Mwah. Bye.